I'm sorry, officer. I really didn't mean to be out here campaigning for my candidate while I was black and all. Hey, everybody. I'm David Ridings. Thanks for joining us as we police the police. Hey, I got a fun video for you tonight. I've been out for a couple of days. I got really busy with work. I'm sorry. And normally I will do a video every weekday, and it is Tuesday, and I haven't done one since Friday, I believe. But most of you didn't miss me, so I'm back anyway. Tonight, we're going to be taking a look at Des Moines Police Department. And this poor black child was just in the wrong neighborhood, apparently. Let's watch the video and see what you think.
Yes, I'm Officer at the Des Moines Police Department. The reason why I'm talking to you today is someone called in about you. Are you just handing out flyers?
What am I doing wrong?
I didn't know. People were concerned.
Yeah, concerned for what?
Their neighborhoods.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second, Ricky.
So it's not a big deal.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to figure out what we were concerned about.
Apparently, it's a big enough deal for you to harass the crap out of this poor guy.
Well, in West Des Moines, we have a soliciting ordinance, so if you're knocking on people's doors...
Yeah, soliciting is what? Offering services.
Yeah.
I'm not offering a service.
Okay.
Okay, so with that being said, I'd like you to leave me alone, sir. I've not broken any laws.
Well, I'm still doing an investigation because if you're recording me, I'm still recording too, so it's okay.
Investigating what, sir?
A suspicious person. They called in about you.
Okay.
You have an ID with you?
No, I don't.
Do you have your name? Can I have your name?
No. Am I under arrest?
No.
Okay.
Well, I'm investigating.
If I'm not under arrest, then you have no reason to be talking to me, right?
I can. Actually, yes. You're a suspicious person. Someone called in about...
Suspicious how?
A neighbor called over here, so I don't understand why you're being difficult about this.
I'm not being difficult about anything because I haven't done anything out of the way.
Okay.
So with that being...
So Des Moines, Iowa is not a stop and identify state. In most states, in order for a police officer to require you to identify yourself, he has to have articulable suspicion of a crime. And articulable means it has to be something that he can readily say. You notice when this guy asks him, "What have I done wrong?" He starts his sentence with Anytime a police officer starts his sentence with it means he doesn't have reasonable, articulable facts that he can say to identify the crime that he suspects you of committing. You also notice that this young man knew what it meant to solicit, and he rolled right off his tongue. That means I'm soliciting goods or services in return for, and I'm not doing that. So apparently he knows a little bit about the law. That doesn't mean that a police officer should tuck his tail and run just because you know a little bit about the law. It does make some police officers angry when you tell them no. And that's what we talk about a lot on this channel is how do you tell a police officer no in a respectful way, invoking your rights early and often in a way that doesn't get you arrested. That's the key. Let's see if that works here for him.
Said I'll go about my business.
Okay, I'm not done with you yet. You're not free to go.
Have I done it? Have I broken any laws?
4255. Can you send me one this way, please? He's
Have I broken any laws, sir?
I'm talking to you. I'm not done. I'm investigating a suspicious person.
You have a nice day, sir.
Stop. Stop now.
For what?
I can detain you. Stop.
For what?
Because you're not listening. I'm investigating a suspicious person. Stop
sir,
now.
Sir, have I broken any laws?
Stop.
Tell me what laws I've broken.
I told you to stop.
I don't have to stop.
Yes.
You know I don't. Either arrest me, tell me what laws I've broken,
Can you
or get away from me.
step it up? He's being uncooperative and trying to walk away from me. He won't identify himself as a suspicious person I'm investigating.
He won't identify himself as a suspicious person we're investigating. Headquarters, send me multiple cars for backup. Good Lord.
I know my rights. And with that being said, if I've not broken any laws, you have no reason to detain me.
Stop.
So I'm going to ask you one more time.
I'm going to tell you to stop.
For what?
Because I'm talking to you and you're...
What have I done that's wrong?
I just told you I'm investigating who you are.
You're harassing me.
5700 block of Aspen. Stop. I'm telling you to stop, and I'm not going to tell you again.
And what will you do if I don't stop?
I will detain you.
Detain me for what?
You're not listening. No. I'm doing an investigation of a suspicious person.
Suspicious person? Have I broken any laws?
It doesn't. That's not the point.
Any laws?
Someone called you, and it's a suspicious person.
Okay, and you can be a suspicious person, Mr.
Really?
Ray.
Really?
I feel like you're a suspicious person.
How would I be suspicious?
You look suspicious to me.
Okay, how would that be? I'm in a marked
You're a
police
white
car.
man. You're suspicious to me.
I'm suspicious to you because I'm a white person.
Yeah, with a gun. You're suspicious to me.
No,
now
stop.
Get away from me. I haven't.
Well, officer, I was a suspicious man to you because I'm a black man with a hat and a coat on. A little background. They had a caller that called 911 and said, call 911 for crying out loud. Like this is an emergency 911 call. We have this suspicious man who is wearing a hat and a coat, and he looks suspicious because the weather was mild that day in Iowa. I think the high was 62 degrees that day. And this looks suspicious because in Iowa, you'd be in short pants and a tank top on a 62 degree day. It's unusual because he's got a toboggan hat on and a coat on an unusually mild day. I'm just reporting. That's what they said.
I haven't done anything out of the way. You can't arrest me. Arrest me right now if you want to.
Here, turn around, put your hands back.
For what?
Because you're not. Stop. Turn around.
What have I done?
Because you're not listening to me.
What have I done wrong, sir?
Get your hand. Get the phone out of my face. Because you're not. I'm investigating a suspicious person.
Sir, what have I done wrong? I'm not suspicious. I haven't done anything. I'm walking up the street. I haven't done anything wrong. I don't have any.
Neighbors have called on you.
Sir, I don't care if anyone has called on me. This is not their area.
This is a public roadway, so this means...
Okay. It's a public roadway. That means that I have the right to be on this roadway. Yes or no?
Everybody has the right to be on the public roadway.
So I am not a suspicious
But you don't have a right to be on anybody else's property or curtilage.
I'm not on anybody's property.
Why would someone call it in?
That's their concern.
So they're concerned.
Hello, listen, I'm recording right now because this police officer just walked.
So his mama calls. He's like, Mom, come on. Seriously, I'm trying to video the policeman. Quit calling me. Brady says, this is ridiculous. I agree, Brady. And welcome to the show. I think this is the first time you've watched me.
Walked up on me saying I'm a suspicious person and he was going to detain me for whatever reason.
Because you're not listening.
Listen, sir, I don't know how y'all do things here, but I'm...
Where are you from?
Record it, so could you please get off the phone while I'm...
Mom, could you please get... This just cracks me up. Mom, could you please get off the phone? I'm trying to be a YouTube sensation.
Trying to record. Thank you.
Okay, call your mom.
Sir, listen to me. I work for somebody that will have... Look, listen to me. I work for somebody who will get on your mother ass. So I'm going to ask you one more time.
Okay, actually using obscenities in front of public people is a crime.
Sir, listen to me. I'm going to tell you one more time.
I don't care who you work for.
You don't care who I work for. The person I work for pays you. So I'm going to tell you one more time to get away.
Sarah says, unreal. I agree. This is the one mistake I think this kid makes. There's no reason to get vulgar. I mean, so far you're doing pretty well. I will say, in this country, when a police officer tells you to stop and put your hands behind your back, you're under arrest, then you should do that. Doing anything other than that is you trying to win the argument on the street. And I say all the time, you're never going to win on the street. It's well settled in this country. You do not win an argument with a police officer on the street. You will win in court when you're right, like this gentleman is here. You don't have the right in this country to resist even an unlawful arrest. Now, if the arrest is unlawful, you have remedies. You have remedies both in criminal court and you have remedies in civil court to sue for violating your civil rights and things of that nature. But you win that in court. So this young man has walked off several times and put himself at risk of being physically harassed by this police officer. And this officer, because this officer is second guessing himself so much, he hasn't put his hands on him yet. That tells me the officer's he's not quite sure that what he's doing is legitimate. Otherwise, he would have jumped on him immediately. So he's placating him a little bit because he's not quite sure. But that changes here in just a second.
Away from me. Leave me alone.
You're
Leave me alone. Get away from me.
Yeah. He's still walking away from me, being uncooperative and refusing to identify himself.
I don't have to do anything. I don't have to identify myself to you. I don't have to do anything. If I have not broken any laws, I don't have to.
Westbound, we were 58th and Aspen.
Again, I asked you to leave me alone. If I've not broken a law, you have no reason to detain me. If you had a reason to detain me, you would have detained me already.
I can, actually. Yes, I can.
For what?
Because you're not listening to my directions. You're not following. Turn around right now.
Sir.
Turn around. I'm done.
Okay. So if you had a reason to detain me, you would have done that already. He kind of calls his bluff a little bit. And then the officer's like, well, crap, he's right. Okay, that's it. I'm done. Put your hands behind your back. And he does lay hands on him. At that point, you're under arrest. I mean, when the officer tells you you're under arrest, you're technically under arrest and you should comply just to be safe and to do things the right way. So if I were grading this citizen here, so far he'd probably get a B+. He's done most things right, but walking away when he's told that he's being detained is not actually legitimate. He will win ultimately in court. And most cases like this, when the body cam comes out, the DA or the police chief or somebody will look at it and they'll go, yeah, he probably shouldn't have been arrested. And they'll usually dismiss the case. That's not what happened here. You'll be interested to know what actually does happen. And we're going to report that in just a minute.
So you're going to arrest me?
I'm detaining you.
For what? For what?
Be resistant.
For what?
Oh, he's detaining him. See, he's still not saying you're under arrest. And then when he finds out what he's really got under, because you notice when we first started this video, this kid put something under his jacket. He didn't really want the officer to know what he was doing yet. What he was doing was very legitimate. He was actually spreading campaign campaign literature for his, he's working for somebody who's running, I think, for Senate. And he was actually spreading this stuff around the neighborhood. He wasn't soliciting. He wasn't soliciting for money or for, to sell goods or services. He was actually campaigning, which is absolutely legal in this country. If he wins in court, let the dumb officer know he was wrong so he doesn't continually do the wrong thing. Well, I think that's a good point, Sarah. There should be more that happens to this dumb officer as a result of encounters like this. When we catch bully cops on video, I'm a big proponent of absolutely firing them. Now, this is not to the extent that I think that this officer should be fired because although he's a bully, he's exerting his authority and he's got kind of a big ego. He's not going to let it go when he knows, really, I don't have any reason to arrest this guy, but he's not complying with me. And by God, I'm the law. And he's going to have to, he's going to have to comply with me, or I'm just going to have to arrest him. A lot of cops think that they can arrest you if you don't identify yourself. That's absolutely not true in this country, in most states. There are some exceptions to that, but they're very few. Stop and identify states are very few. I don't know of one, actually. I'd have to research that, but Iowa's not, Tennessee's not, where I'm a lawyer. In order for a police officer to get your identification, he has to have, again, reasonable, articulable facts of a suspected crime. Let's watch what happens next.
Because you're not listening to what I'm saying. Do not be resistive towards me.
All right.
Walk back to my car.
All right. You've done
I'm
it.
detained.
You have done it.
Yep.
You're a fool. You are a real fool, sir. And could you tell me what I am in handcuffs for?
Yes,
Why
because
am
you
I
wouldn't follow.
cuffed?
You wouldn't follow my.
Your directives. And what were your directives?
I told you to stop numerous times,
And I asked you for what?
and I asked you to identify
For what?
yourself because I'm investigating a suspicious person. Someone had worry.
Worried about what? Have I tried to enter anyone's property?
They were concerned. So yes, you're gonna.
Okay. No, I have not. Show me evidence where I've entered someone's property without them knowing. Show me
There was
evidence.
2 calls on you about entering people's areas of their house.
No, they weren't.
Okay, that's actually a lie. There were not 2 calls on this individual. There was 1 call. And the 1 call was, let's back this up just a hair. I went a little too fast. The 1 call was at 2:58 that afternoon. And it was because I think the person specifically said it's very weird because it is warm and he's wearing a coat and a hat. So the caller, the only articulable facts of suspicion was the improper attire he was wearing for such a warm day. And I was wrong. It wasn't 62 degrees. The high that day was 67 degrees. For Iowans, that's a roll down the windows and roll up your shirt sleeves kind of weather, it says here in this report. So he really
Listen to me.
doesn't have any facts to support suspicion of a crime.
I can tell you for sure I have not done anything wrong. I have not broken any laws. So if I suggest you let me out of these handcuffs immediately.
Well,
Sir,
when you-
could you tell him to take me out of these handcuffs? I have not broken any laws.
Okay, did you stop when he told you to?
No, he kept walking
Okay,
away.
then that's interference. So you're under arrest.
No, that's not interference there.
Interfering for what?
Interference. You
You
disobeyed a lawful order.
You were sitting.
You disobeyed a lawful order, and you can tell this guy's a rookie. Cops that still think it's illegal to disobey an unlawful order just because the cop says it and he's wearing a badge and a gun doesn't make it a lawful order. This is still America for the love of Jesus. We still have this little thing called the Constitution, which protects you from unreasonable detention and searches and seizures and unreasonable police states. It's still America. But I swear these young kids coming out of the academy now still think that if they say it, it's biblical. It's the law. You have to abide by what they say. Well, did you stop when he told you to stop? Well, no. Well, then you're interfering with come on, give me a break.
Right there, and I told you to stop 4 or 5 times to identify yourself because there was a suspicious
Sir.
person car, and I'm investigating that.
Investigating what? I have not done anything.
Okay.
You can't just run up on anyone and just say, "Hey, you look suspicious."
Okay, he told you to stop. He didn't.
And we had calls on you, like I told you.
You're practicing stop and frisk right now. I've not
No.
done
No, you're
anything
under
wrong.
arrest. So.
Under arrest for what? Under arrest for what? What have I done wrong? Tell me
didn't-
now.
So did you see that? So let's see here. Let's see. Back it up.
Practicing stop and frisk right now. I've not
No.
done
No, you're
anything
under
wrong.
arrest. So.
Under arrest for what?
Dun, dun, dun. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. The contraband under his jacket. Could it get any more suspenseful than this? The man was spreading campaign literature. And he's black.
Under arrest for what? What have I done wrong? Tell me now.
You didn't identify yourself.
Okay.
You didn't stop when he asked you to.
Okay.
Okay, this is what I'm asking. That's all I'm asking for is your name and date of birth, man.
All right. Okay.
So I can log someone.
Okay.
So what's the issue here, man?
There is
Why-
an issue. I
Sit
haven't
back
done
here.
anything wrong. to
Sit
you.
back here.
I have not done a thing.
Let me tell you what the issue is here, officer. The issue is you still think in America that police officers have the right to do anything they want to because you're a police officer and you have a badge and a gun. You took an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution, and you've never read the Constitution. That's the problem. Now, I still, on this channel, Stand Against Dark Blue, and our new brand, formerly Crime Time Central, now Policing the Police. I support the police. I love the police. I used to be a police officer, many of you know, and I support good cops. And most cops are good cops. But there are a few cops like this who just continue to be bullies and make the rest of us look bad. And I say us, I'm not a cop anymore, but once a cop, always a cop. That's what they say. It's just embarrassing. And it's time that we start a dialogue about how to fix this. And it's done early in training. You have to train these police officers to do a couple of things. One, you have to train them to treat people like humans. Now, I've shown you videos on this channel just recently of the very dangerous things that cops do. And so I know why cops do what they do sometimes. And for officer safety reasons, I give them a lot of leeway. In this particular instance, there's no officer safety concern here. This is just somebody with an overzealous ego who will not be told by this black man wearing the improper attire that he doesn't have the authority to stop and detain him and identify him for no reason. Cops need to learn that when they don't have reasonable suspicion of a crime, they need to just move on. They need to just walk away. And that has to be trained. It's not instinctive for cops to walk away from somebody when the person tells them no. And so that needs to be taught in the academy. Is it going to be easy? No. We didn't get like this overnight, and it's not going to be fixed overnight. You have a lot of people now doing these First Amendment audits and getting in cops' faces and, the cameras and whatnot. And so cops have to put up with a lot. But this is not one of those situations. This guy wasn't doing a First Amendment audit. He was walking around the neighborhood passing out campaign literature, and some idiot probably, I don't have any evidence that the caller was a racist. But why would you call on somebody walking around your neighborhood just because they were wearing a coat and a hat? I wouldn't do that. I mean, I see lots of people that walk in. I live in Nashville on a very busy thoroughfare, and we have people walking in front of our house all day and night. Like we live on a really high traffic road. If I called the police because I saw somebody walk across the sidewalk in front of my house wearing the improper attire, I see people all the time wearing improper attire. Homeless people walking by with barely anything on, and it's freezing cold outside. I don't call the police. Somebody walking in the summertime with a toboggan and now a mask. Everybody in the world's wearing a mask and these toboggan hats, and you can't tell who they are. You just can't call the police on people like that. But this looks like a Leave It to Beaver kind of neighborhood. And the person clearly thought he was suspicious because he was wearing the wrong attire. I disagree with him, but we are where we are.
Why would you not listen to me?
Because I have not done anything wrong, sir. Let me out of these handcuffs immediately.
Sit back here.
Okay.
All the way in. I just want to log him and get him out of here because people were concerned because he was...
Put him in custody. If he's going to walk away, don't let him play that game because he's just going to keep playing it next time. He's just going to think that he can now just walk away from cops. If he doesn't want to stop, he just doesn't have to.
So he was sitting right here, and I just said, hey, there was a concern for you. Why? Okay.
So he cut his mic off there. because the other officer's like, just cut your mic off. You know, there's no reason for you to recap this on the body cam. And, you know, clearly this other cop says, just put him in custody, for crying out loud. If you don't do it now, then he's just playing these games, and he'll keep playing these games and think he can walk off from the police anytime he's not committed a crime. I mean, good Lord, we can't have people walking away from the police every time they haven't committed a crime. That's what you really should be saying here. It's so clear to me. I just can't get past it in my head why these cops think they have the right to do this to people. Now, here's something that's interesting. This is a news report about what happened in the aftermath here. A black man accused of acting suspicious and harassing a West Des Moines police officer has been found not guilty of criminal wrongdoing by a Polk County jury. Do you know what that says to me? That says to me this man went all the way through the process, and there wasn't one district attorney that looked at this body cam and said, this is bullcrap. I'm dismissing this case. Why? Why did that go to a jury trial? I've been practicing law for 23 years, and I can count on two hands the number of jury trials that I've had in 23 years. Jury trials don't come and go easily. You don't have a jury trial in most cases. The majority of cases are resolved by negotiation. Sometimes they're resolved by negotiated plea deals. Sometimes the DA will do what's called a DA's deal, and they'll just let you do some community service work and then, you know, get your case dismissed. Some DAs will walk in, and I've had this happen in Nashville. We have a very reasonable DA's office here in Nashville. And many, many, many times I'll have a DA look at the facts of a case that are written by the police officer and go, this is crap. How in the world did this not get dismissed? How in the world did the magistrate issue a warrant for this? And I've not just a couple of times, I've had that dozens of times where DAs will look at something and they'll go, this is stupid. I'm dismissing this. This is crap. This man went all the way to a jury trial for what you just saw. And he was 24 years old. Basically, he was campaigning for David Young's congressional campaign and spreading literature for that campaign. Now, I don't know how powerful Mr. Young is. This young man thought he was pretty powerful. Told the officer, he used some very explicit language. I don't think he's that powerful. But the DA is powerful enough that they could have dismissed this case, and they chose not to. And I don't know. Anybody watching here, comment below if you think this should have gone to a jury trial. Because you know what that does? It wastes your money and my money. Now, we don't live in Des Moines, but the taxpayers of the city and the county pay for jury trials, and they're expensive. And I know you think, well, I'll never miss that. I mean, you know, you probably won't. But why? Why did we have to spend so much money to prosecute this young man who had done absolutely nothing wrong and just chose to stand up for his constitutional rights and refused to identify himself? And because of a police officer's overzealous ego, we have to spend taxpayer money to litigate this in front of a freaking jury. I don't get it. But God bless America is about all I can say. Missy says she thinks she should file a civil lawsuit. I agree. He probably did. I don't know that for sure. If I were his attorney in the criminal thing, I'd say, let's just wait. Let's get the criminal thing out of the way, and then we'll file the civil lawsuit. Because it'll go a long way to have an acquittal under your belt before you file the civil lawsuit. But I bet he did. And he should have. And I hope he wins a lot of money. And the poor people of Des Moines, Iowa, just have to suck it up and pay that money. Now, if we can get more people pissed off about that, we can get rid of bully cops like this. I think this was a training issue. I think it can be resolved by remedial training for the officers involved, particularly the main officer here. The second officer clearly needs some remedial training too because of some of the things that he said, and he didn't help things at all. I don't think this is a case where I would have said, "Oh, let's just fire him," because you can't redeem that. I've seen videos where officers I don't think can be redeemed and they should be fired, and I've done videos on those, and I'm quite vocal about that. But in this particular case, I think some remedial training might help, and that should happen. But when you get officers who will physically abuse a citizen, in addition to what we saw here, those officers need to be fired. Listen, thanks for watching. We're going to start getting a little more regular and a little more timely. I'm going to try to do these videos at 8 o'clock weeknights and have them Monday through Friday. But I appreciate everybody watching. It just helps our channel significantly when you watch and when you comment and particularly when you share this video with friends on your friends list. If you're watching on Facebook, go over to YouTube, click the subscribe and the like button there, and you'll be notified every time we go live. If you're watching on YouTube, head on over to Facebook and like and subscribe. Like us in both places. It'll just make you feel good. And you ain't seen nothing yet. Listen, you guys keep standing against the darkness. We'll be standing against the darkness with you, and we'll be shining some laser-focused light on the problem, which is what needs to happen. Thanks, guys, for watching. We'll be back tomorrow.
You ain't seen nothing yet.